In this video, I'll show you how to create or configure a MCP server through custom connectors. Now, as you all know, Model Context Protocol MCP is introduced by Anthropic. It's an open source framework and it's an open protocol that standardizes how apps provide context to LLM. Basically, it's an open standard that enables artificial intelligence systems to seamlessly access and utilize external tools, systems, services. Now, in this example, what we are going to do is I will just focus on Microsoft Learn's MCP server. Now, I'm just using this as an example. So, if you want to use Microsoft Learn MCP server to direct agent to only respond uh, if the user asks anything related to Microsoft products or services, what I want is that agent should only refer to Microsoft Learn MCP server services, right? Now, Microsoft has provided you this link learn.microsoft.com slash API slash MCP. We are going to make use of this. However, if you configure a Microsoft Copilot Studio agent, now you will also see Microsoft Learn MCP server over there also. So let me show you in action. So first, we have this Copilot Studio. So I've already created this Copilot Studio, which is named as plain agent. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into tools. Now, I'll click on add a tool. Now here, if I want to configure an MCP server, I will just go ahead and click on model context MCP server. Now there are various out of the box MCP servers which are available for you to consume. There's Dataverse MCP server, there's Dynamics 365 ERP MCP server, and Box D365 sales. There are so many MCP servers listed over here. Now, if the MCP server which you are looking for is not available in this list, then what you can do, you can configure that MCP server using custom connector. So for that, you first click on new tool, and here instead of selecting MCP, you use custom connector. Now if I click on custom connector, I'll be presented with a screen, and it will request me to select some options from there. So where are you creating this custom connector from? So here, new custom connector. So if I click on new custom connector, I have various options. I can create from blank. I can create from Azure Service, import an Open API file, import an Open API from URL, import a Postman collection, and import from GitHub. Now this time we're going to import from GitHub. Now remember, we will simulate Microsoft Learn MCP server. So for that, we will copy this link first. I'll copy this link and go to here and say import from GitHub. Now from here, I will select connector type as custom, choose branch, I'll pick up dev, and from a connector, I will select MCP, streamable HTTP. Now there are various options to select from, Azure ADLP, card platform. So these all does a different activity, but we are more focused on MCP streamable HTTP because we have an HTTP link. Now I'll select that, click on continue. The moment I click on continue, I have an option to name the connector. So in order to distinguish, I'll just name this as Girish MCP docs server. Okay, now I'll tell you why I named this way when I save this definition. Now here we have an option to upload the connector icon, so I can upload whatever connector icon I want. So I'll just go ahead and upload some icons. So let me see if I have got some icons. So sample files and images, and maybe I will just pick up one of this icon. Let me see if the size matches correctly. We pick up this, and if it is less than 1 meg, yeah, it will allow you to select. So you can put an icon background color if you want. So I can pick up whatever color I want. So let me put hash 541234, and description. Now, this MCP server will work with streamable HTTP and is meant to work with Microsoft Copilot Studio. I will say this MCP server points to MCP Microsoft Docs MCP server. And Here we have an option to select the scheme. As you see over here, we have this link, https learnmicrosoft.com API MCP. So I'll keep as it is, and I will copy the URL and paste it. Now remember what you need to do. You don't need the scheme. So if you see this error, it's a host cannot contain the scheme. So I will remove the scheme, learn.microsoft.com. And also I will remove this part of the URL and paste it over here as a base URL. So it is slash API slash MCP. All good. I won't change anything on security, definition, code, or test. I'll say click on create connector. Now it will go ahead and create this connector. Now this might take some time. It might take, for me, I did it on a separate environment and it took around 7 minutes or so. So let it save. Now once that is saved, you will get an option to refresh the screen over here. So you have opened a new tab to create a custom connector. Click refresh to see your created custom connector. Now it will take some time, but just for this video, what I've done, I have already created a custom connector in a different environment. Okay, so how it will look, I'll show you. So this is a different environment altogether. So I'll click on add a tool, and here to go to model context protocol. If I just scroll here, you will see MCP server streamable HTTP. Now this is that custom connector which I have created. Now to verify that, let me go into the make.preview.powerapps.com, and here if I go to say connections, now here I can see various connections. This is an instance of that connector which you are utilizing. Now one of them is this Microsoft Learn which was connected 11 minutes ago. If I see the detail, it is that same MCP server connection link which I'm using. So it says app using the connection flow using the, I'm not using it in any Microsoft Power Apps or Flow. This is just like we'll be using for Copilot Studio. Now how to use this? So for that, what you need to do, go to Model Context Protocol and click on MCP server streamable HTTP. Now let me tell you why we did all these things. Okay, so this is a simple agent, travel agent. Now if I go into this tools, uh, yeah, so first let's ask this agent something. Okay, so I'll say what is Power Pages. Now it will search for the knowledge source and it will retrieve this item. Now from where this information is coming, this is not coming from Microsoft Learn side. This is coming from the LLM. So LLM has its own knowledge and it has given us this output. Now in order to verify, let's go ahead, click on settings, and this time I will go here under generative AI, use general knowledge. I'll turn this off. Click on save and close the settings. Now, let me ask that same question again. Let me refresh the what is Power Pages. Now I have turned off the knowledge. Now, if you turn off the LLM knowledge, it will not understand what are you typing. So because we do not have any specific topics created for that, and that's why it says, I'm sorry, I'm not sure how to help with that. Can you help try rephrasing? So it will trigger that on unknown intent. Now for that purpose, what we want is like if anyone asks anything related to Microsoft tech, I want that item to go into that specific model context protocol which we have just created. So go to tools. Now here I've already configured one of them, but let me show you again how to do that. Add a tool, then go to model context protocol, and here you will see MCP server streamable HTTP, add and configure. So this is the one which we just created, right? But this is in a different environment because I just created it ahead of time so that I don't spend time waiting in the video. Now here it will say what is it, how it operates, and how the orchestrator determines. So I'll say this is MCP server. I'll call this as Girish MCP docs server learn, and I have an option to see various details over here. So let me click on save. Now, as you see over here, there is no specific tools listed, right? So I'll go ahead and refresh it and see whether if something comes up. And as you see, Microsoft underscore docs underscore search comes in and it says search official Microsoft Azure documentation to find the most relevant and trustworthy content for a user's query. This tool returns up to 10 high quality content chunks, each with a find a tokens value extracted from Microsoft Learn. So this MCP server is now configured for me. So now let me go back over here, and now let me ask that same question. What is Power Pages? And now it will hit the MCP server, it will go to Microsoft Learn, and then it will start extracting the information. Now, as you see in the footnote over here, you have got that reference from the Microsoft Docs MCP server. Now, on the left hand side, you will see what input you have provided, like the question, and what output did you get. Now, this is the output which we got. Is error is false. This is the raw output. This is how the content will look like. And this is the text basically. This is the text which we received. So this is how you can configure the custom using custom connector in MCP server. Now, we just got that URL and then we have configured as a custom connector, and then we surfaced out the information. Now, recently I have seen that you need not even do all this thing. Now, why we did this? Because for if you want to extract content from Microsoft MCP doc server, we were not able to find the MCP server out of the box availability within Copilot Studio, and hence we did that, right? But if you go to add a tool, now remember I told you that if you go to model context protocol and if you do not find what you are looking, you can create your own custom connector just by going into new tool and custom connector. However, we did this for an example of Microsoft Docs MCP server. But if you just scroll down, you will see that Microsoft has provided that out of the box. So instead of doing all this thing for this specific particular context, you can directly go to Microsoft Learn Docs MCP server, and then you can add to agent and configure. So you need not even go through the entire process which I just showed you. I just showed you that process for any other tool which is not available within that MCP server list. So that's it, folks. This is all about using a custom connector to configure a MCP server in Microsoft Copilot Studio. Thanks for watching.